from the perspective of someone looking after social media for your firm, you're looking at it from a firm perspective. So your promotion of your firm, your branding and engagement, your increasing of awareness. You're also looking at it in terms of people using it for their own professional means. So your team members and how they're using social media to promote their own professional brand. And there's an element of business development in that, and there's an element of managing risk in that in terms of trying to have a comprehensive strategy. Then you also have people's personal use of social media and those that are within your firm and how they are using it. There's the element of managing the risk associated with that, but there's also leveraging people's personal accounts so that the relationships that they have within that social media world can be leveraged in the same way that we do when we say, oh, you know, David, really wanted to catch up with him, can you introduce me? So those rules apply within this space just as they do within the real world space. And to me, social media is really about networking, it's about word of mouth, it's being able to leverage relationships, and that's something that lawyers have been doing successfully for years and years and years. This is just a slightly different forum with which to do it. Then when we think about social media, I tend to think of it within these 4 parts. So content is the one that we tend to concentrate on. So that's that creation of valuable content that you want to share with your audiences. But it doesn't stop there. We also need to be aware of curation. So what that is gathering information together that would be of interest to your audience that you have not necessarily authored. So it's a really good way of sharing information in a way that's time efficient, but it also helps you create stronger relationships with other people you have on social media because everybody wants to share things, everyone wants their reach to be extended. Then there's the engagement piece, and that's actively using social media to talk to your audience on your sites and other sites. And this is the piece that I think is a little bit scary for lawyers, and it's also the piece that differentiates social media from traditional forms of media. So if we can get this engagement piece right, it's a really powerful tool. Then there's social listening, which you don't even have to be on social media to do. That's just being aware of what's being said about your firm and your lawyers on social media. And there's a couple of tools that can help you do that. Mention Brand24 and Google Alerts, the ones that I would recommend. I am going to go through tools at the end, and if we don't quite get there, I'll make sure you have a way to access that information. All right, so let's get on to some of the current trends that we're seeing. I think it's fair to say social media is now here to stay. It's been quite a few years now. I think that question is now a dead duck, whether social media is an ongoing concern. And the social media platforms are now large legitimate businesses in their own right. So they have a responsibility to their shareholders to continue to turn a profit. And the way that they turn that profit is through attracting firms to advertise. So it is in their best interests to create new ways and more incentives for firms to be on their platforms. And I think that's quite a positive thing for law firms. I know when Facebook changed and we all had to pay for posts, everyone started to get a little, well, what do you mean I have to pay for reach? I used to be able to get it organically. But I actually think there's a real positive there, because what platforms, I'm just using Facebook because it's probably the best example of it, what it means is that platforms like Facebook are going to continue to really allow you to be really, really targeted in your approach if you use it properly, and they're also going to give you some great tools to measure your reach. So I think it's just worth keeping in mind that these are legitimate businesses now and they're operating on legitimate business models. We'll continue to see, I think, these changes in algorithm where things are changing constantly. As I said, they've got to report back to their shareholders. What I think this means for firms is that you just have to keep your ear constantly to the ground. You need to be aware of what's happening all the time.